Donald Trump will be sworn in as the 47th President of the United States today, a couple of months after he became just the second person in history to win a non-consecutive term in the White House. Trump defeated Kamala Harris in November's election, completing a historic political comeback 4 years after he lost to Joe Biden. Trump served as president from 2017 to 2021. The inauguration is set to take place inside the U.S. Capitol due to dangerously cold temperatures projected in the nation's capital. Thousands of people who had tickets to attend the event outdoors will not be able to fit into the new indoor configuration. Trump has encouraged his supporters to instead attend a live viewing of the event at Washington's Capital One Arena. He said he will come to the arena after the inauguration at the Capitol. A presidential inauguration was last held indoors in 1985 when President Ronald Reagan was inaugurated for his second term. Trump promises blizzard of executive orders on first day of presidency. Ahead of his return to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, President-elect Donald Trump addressed a raucous crowd of thousands in a Washington, D.C. arena for a victory rally in which he offered a preview of the next 4 years. The Republican promised to act unilaterally on a wide array of issues, using his presidential powers to launch mass deportation operations, slash environmental regulations, and end diversity programs. Is expected to sign more than 200 executive orders today. This would include executive orders which are legally binding and other presidential directives like proclamations, which are usually not. Every radical and foolish executive order of the Biden administration will be repealed within hours of when I take the oath of office, the incoming president Donald Trump said. Trump promised executive orders that would ramp up artificial intelligence programs from the Department of Government Efficiency, make records available related to the assassination of John F. Kennedy in 1963, direct the military to create an Iron Dome missile defense shield, and eliminate diversity, equity, and inclusion policies from the military. Just an insight into what to expect from a Donald Trump presidency as he takes over today as the 47th U.S. president. We've got good news joining us from the United States of America. He's the president of Ready to Lead Africa from the United States. Good news. Thank you so much for joining us, a global affairs analyst. It's a delight to have you here with us on the show TMI on the ITV network. Give us perspectives and views on the mood in the U.S. right now, beginning with you, who is joining us live on the show.
All right, thank you so much. Sonny Duke, it's good to see you again. It's been a minute. I haven't seen you in a couple of years, but it's great to see you again on screen. And it's currently 1:51 a.m. here in the United States, and a lot of inauguration activities going on. We've been moving around. You can see from the way I'm even dressed, you can tell that it's pretty cold. There's a lot of moving parts, but the mood is one of a lot of excitement as well as disappointment, because again there are a lot of supporters who have traveled across the country to come to DC to experience this once in a lifetime, most times, for a lot of people who want to experience the inauguration of a president. But I would tell you that it's cold. It's pretty cold. It was snowing yesterday, and we still have snow on the road. There's a lot of salt pouring on the road, but the mood generally is, a new administration is about to take effect, and Americans are, optimistic, looking forward to the second coming, if I have to use that word, of Donald Trump. So yeah.
God bless Otobere. It's a delight to see you. Well, there are a whole lot of things coming forth in this inauguration. First, it's not going to be outdoor, it's going to be indoors, and this is the second time this is happening in history, and that's because of the very cold nature, which of course you alluded to earlier. That's the reason you are dressed the way you're dressed. Will that not take away the fervor, the excitement in this inauguration, as it were?
Well, I mean, but uh, if you've seen inaugurations in the past, where you have people, sit in the National Mall, lying all the way from the Washington Monument all the way to the Capitol. It's really beautiful because you have millions of people, hundreds of thousands of people lying in the National Mall all the way uh, to the Washington Monument. And then the president raises his hand and takes the oath of office. It's a lot of fun. But I can tell you that, from what we've seen with the Trump rallies and what we've seen in America is that people can always have fun, whatever way they choose. So uh, for the Trump supporters, nothing changes. For a lot of them, so I was listening to Mark Levin, and a lot of people are traveling from other parts of America to DC just to experience this once in a lifetime experience. But they're taking it to the Capital One Arena, and that creates a sense of a party. Trump had a rally in the same venue yesterday, and hopefully that will continue. So, in terms of how this will play out, I think a lot of people are still going to have fun, but it's going to be smaller. The crowd will be crazy, but I think it will always be have fun.
Mr. God bless. Let's move on now. What are the expectations of U.S. citizens? Looking at the body language of the president and some of his policies, predicting his policies before he even he's getting to his inauguration today, he has made some proclamations and promised that he's going to roll out close to 100 policies. What is the expectations?
I mean, the expectations are pretty high. It depends on what side of the aisle you're on. If you're a Republican, you're definitely looking for a reversal of some of the Joe Biden era policies. They cut across different areas of the American life, American society. If you are a Democrat, you're thinking, "Oh my God, what's going to happen?" So, if we look at the match of the people that happened in Washington D.C. on, I think that was Saturday, protesting against abortion rights and LGBTQ issues. If you're in that community, you're clearly saying, "Oh, what is going to happen to me now?" But if you're maybe on the right, you're like, "Can we get over all of this issue of DEI, critical race theory, America's weakened position on the world, Americans' place, in terms of world power and all of that." But generally, what you would see is what side of the aisle are you on? That would most likely be how you view what is going to happen today. A couple of hours from now, former President Donald Trump, who is now president-elect, will be taking the oath of office again as the 47th president of the United States, and that for Americans, irrespective of whatever aisle you belong to, it's a solemn responsibility that only a few out of hundreds of millions are able to experience in their life. El pluribus unum, out of many one, and that is actually what makes the United States special.
Let's quickly, take you back a little bit. I heard when you said that it's a mixed feelings for the return of President Donald Trump. For some, you said is a huge disappointment. Can you share with us why this disappointment is in the air as it relates to the return of President Donald Trump? And in terms of some of the proclamations he has already promised to work with or to particularly the executive orders that he said is going to bring forth immediately he steps into office today. Which of them really brings this sort of resentment that we are seeing in the U.S.?
I would say that there are quite a few things that he wants to, a lot of executive orders that he wants to sign on day one. I think he'll be rolling out a lot of regulations on um, drilling rights by U.S., especially targeting U.S. energy independence in terms of drilling new oil fields uh, in the oceans or maybe lands that have been taken over by the federal government as protected lands. For the climate advocates, that is something they're not really excited about. So you would have that as something that would cause a lot of resentment for a lot of people, especially on the left. Um, there are quite all these issues that he wants to, revert. Uh, a lot of tax cuts, a lot of executive orders in banning transgender people from serving in the military, banning our transgender from playing in. So I think one of the major things that Trump has also talked about a lot is deporting illegal immigrants in the country. So those are executive orders that he's going to be signing so that ICE can go ahead and implement some of these policies and decisions. For a lot of the Democrats who believe that people who are fleeing war-torn countries or what have you are able to find succor in new countries, maybe like in another country like the United States, they will feel like that is a letdown on the ideology and what they see life as. So it's a plethora of issues. I cannot right here tell you word for word or number by number what the executive policies that Donald Trump will be signing after inauguration. And I think it's actually very instructive to say that we are expecting that he would sign those executive orders in Congress and not traditionally at the White House. But we don't know yet because we're hearing from inside sources that he may not wait to get to the White House, which is the traditional approach, that he may just get to the Speaker's office or get to the Speaker's balcony, a place that I'm familiar with, to sign some of these executive orders. So if you are a Democrat, you are worried about climate issue, LGBTQ issues, immigration issues, as well as some other issues. But if you're a Republican, you're like, I cannot even wait to get drilling rights back so that gas can come back to just below $2 and we can have inflation reduced drastically. Those are like some of the issues that we believe that the executives are going to be covering.
Just like you mentioned earlier, you talked about the mass deportation of illegal immigrants. The question now is, as a leading force in the United States, you're one of the leaders, ready to lead Africa in the United States. What is the hope of Nigerians and Africans at large residing in the United States?
Well, I mean, one of the things that Trump has promised, especially for different communities in the United States, is, my reality is different from a lot of other Africans who are here, and that's simply because of the work that I've been doing with the State Department, the U.S. Embassy, and with the Summit for Democracy in the White House, and some of the work that we do at the national security level. What Trump has promised is that if you are in the country legally, you're going to have a shot at the American dream. And even for students who are studying in America, he is saying that when you graduate from a master's, you should have, your work permit. That way, I believe that both for Africans and Nigerians and Ghanaians and Cote d'Ivoire, Ivorians, Cameroonians, Sierra Leoneans, every part of from Africa, anyone, and even not just about Africa alone. If you're in the country legally, you have a shot. Uh, but for Africans, I'm just going to say continue to be good citizens, be good residents, pay your taxes, don't run the red light, uh, understand the American way of life, irrespective of your religion. Put America first in the way you look at life. America does not care about your religion. If you believe your religion, believe that you should subject women to a kind of attitude, America does not believe that. America is founded on the Judeo-Christian belief that respects individual freedom, liberty, peace, the pursuit of happiness, entrepreneurship, private property, and the rule of law. So, one of the things that I can tell every African who's going to be watching this and those who wish to come to the United States is the United States is not a place where you can come in and be lawless. It's a place where you come in, you have to understand the principles that founded the country, the values that they subscribe to, the idea of entrepreneurship, community, rule of law, respecting the laws, and just being a good citizen and being a good member of the community. So for Africans, there's hope. I believe that some of us are going to continue to advocate for a strengthening of U.S.-Africa relations. The Vice President, J.D. Vance, is a young man, somebody who we believe we can talk to and speak to about some of the issues we want to see change on the continent. Just a couple of weeks ago, I was with the former Vice President, Mike Pence, and we talked about Africa-U.S. relations and some of the issues we want to see change in terms of infrastructure, building on the ground rails, system, and improving education and changing the way we design our schools. So these are some of the things that we want to continue to push with the Trump administration, and hopefully we can see a better U.S.-Africa relations, in this new Trump's administration.
God bless. Many thanks for sharing these thoughts with us. But on a quick one, how relevant is the fear of the outgoing President Joe Biden about Donald Trump's administration? Recently, he said he was deeply concerned about the takeover of the American government by oligarchs. He's worried about democracy in America, in the U.S., with the Republican in the saddle. How relevant are these fears?
I don't want to get into the conversation about what the outgoing president thinks about oligarchs and look, the American system is a very unique system, different from anywhere else in the world. It's held for over 220 years, block by block, brick by brick. The ideas of the founding fathers have stayed carried on by people who have seen pain, from enslaved people who are now free to, white people who now believe that there is commonality in our humanity. But the American story has not been different from every human story, where you have people who are seeking power for the sake of power, and there are people who just want to be part of what is going on. If the president is interpreting Elon Musk and the other billionaires who have come to the Republican fold as a formation of a new form of oligarchy, he has his reason for saying that. Elon Musk used to be in the Democratic fold, and whatever reason, he now moved on to the Republican fold, where he's working with the president-elect and soon to be president of the United States. I would say that the American populace, they have the capacity to resist every form of oligarchy and fascism and communism and socialism. And America is a place where people believe in private property, the ability to pursue your dream, the pursuit of happiness. So I would say that the president, the outgoing president, can say that, an oligarchic community is building, but I know that the American populace is very aware and they can resist, because this is the land of the the free, the home of the brave. And I believe that um, uh, we would not allow an oligarchy to take center stage and deny the American people the ability to dictate what is going to happen in the American society. So the president's concerns are not unfounded, but again, a lot of people will say when they were in the Democratic fold, you didn't say they were an oligarchy. Now they're no longer in the Democratic fold. You are calling it an oligarchy. So, like I said, I don't want to get involved in that characterization, but I mean, Joe Biden has served his time over 50 years serving in public service. I respect the man. He's a well-meaning man. He loves America, same way Trump loves America, same way the average citizen loves this country. And I think a lot of us who are from Africa originally, we're learning from how it means to love your country, or do what is right by your country, and put the country first. And that is what Americans have voted for. And I hope that the next 4 years of Trump's administration will deliver that. And again, and I believe that Africa will be better off for it.
There, we're looking forward to Trump coming on board. And you talk with so much excitement. It looks like you are one of Donald Trump's favorites. I mean, as a fan, did you vote for him?
Okay, because of my role globally, I do not support candidates. I don't support parties. I'm just, you know, I work with every government in the United States. Um, I am pro America, and I believe in the promise of the United States and to uphold freedom, to uphold the dignity of the human being, and that America continues to remain the home of the brave and the land of the free. So I'm excited because again, uh, what has happened is, despite the challenges in America, America has proven that the institutions are stronger than the human beings, are better than the human beings. And that is why there's a transfer of power from one nation to another. You're not hearing of rigged elections or what have you. An incumbent vice president lost to somebody who was on the outside. And that is the strength of America. I'm excited not for Trump technically. I'm excited for the idea that the things that our continent has failed to uphold and live up to is what we are now experiencing in the world. And being a part of the State Department Emerging Leaders community, working with the Summit for Democracy, I was in South Korea in 2024 with the Secretary of State Anthony Blinken and a couple of other leaders are to actually restate the commitment to global freedom and why countries across the world must continue to make democracy work. So I'm not excited because it's Donald Trump. I'm excited because the American society is making the decision to move in the right way and saying we will be the ones to determine who becomes president, who doesn't become president. So, of course, my vote is personal. I cannot tell you who I voted for, but uh, it's going to be a great next 4 years. Joe Biden is leaving a fantastic economy. Kamala Harris gave it a shot, and she conceded gracefully. And that's the beauty of America, right? A lot of us who were not originally born in this country are finding our ways in this country, and it just speaks to it. Just nobody is judging you by the color of your skin, but by the content of your character, your ability to show up and do the work and be part of the American dream. That is what we want to see in our country. That's what we want to see in Africa, so that we can build a country, especially Nigeria, that is not tribalistic, and we can build a continent that is welcoming to every black person on this earth, and that we can build an Africa-U.S. relations that is not just one-sided, but that we are expanding opportunities between the citizens of the United States and those from Africa.
What's your take on One major activity that seems to have gone simultaneously with Trump's road to victory, that was the hush money trial, and then the final conviction. People thought that that particular issue will dent Trump's political ambition, but that turned out for his good. But on a final note, we know he's been convicted. What does this mean for him, the American people, for democracy in America, and then lessons to learn on the part of African leaders? I know you made some allusions to that in some of your earlier analysis.
Okay, look. It's permit me to call you Uncle Sonny Duke because I was watching you when I was a lot younger, and while I was SUG PRO back in Unibet, I would come to your studio and just engage with you. Look, if you were not in the United States, your experience of what is going on in the U.S. is different, right? The hush money case is clearly an issue, but Donald Trump was unconditionally discharged from. I mean, when you look at what Judge Mashern did, was that because he's going to be president, what was agreed was that he's going to get on a condition pardon, a conditional pardon, or a conditional discharge of the issue. The hush money case probably could not have been brought by a lot of analysts. Rather, some analysts believe that if it wasn't Donald Trump, that case would not have been brought. And of course, you have allegations of lawfare, which the Biden Justice Department has been accused of by the Trump people. But again, see, the thing is this: Trump is going into this presidency with a clean slate, technically, because right now he's not serving any jail term, he's not serving any censure, he's not asked to do anything unconditional. Because again, the president of the United States needs to be able to operate without any encumbrance or limitations. Uh, with how that works for democracy is that what the U.S. proven to also show is nobody's above the law. If there is a case, the United States will pursue it, right? If there's a probable cause, there will be a chasing of that case. And for African leaders, is that we must continue to build a country or build countries that are above the human, that are above the individual. If Trump does anything today, after taking office, that is against the law, blatantly against the law, trust me, even the Republicans are going to speak up against him. Trump does not have, unchecked powers. He's still going to be subjected to the checks and balances of the U.S. Constitution. And that is why the United States is not just a democracy, it's a constitutional democracy. And people can argue their right. Look, I'm originally from Africa, but I can tell a police officer I plead the fifth. Oh, I have First Amendment rights. They would respect that because they know that the foundation of the society is based on the respect of the Constitution. For every African leader who's going to be watching this, listening to me, tie your hands with the Constitution. The reason African countries are failing is because we have men and women who believe that they are above the law. And once you don't have, the rule of law, you cannot develop. Investments are not secured. People cannot bring their money in. That's why people are taking their monies out. That's why even when the politicians technically or allegedly steal money, they bring it to countries where there's rule of law because they know that their stolen wealth will be protected. Do you want to develop Africa? Rule of law, so that we can develop develop the countries on the continent and improve U.S.-Africa relations. And part of the reason why we haven't really improved U.S.-Africa relations over the last couple of years is because of the absence of the rule of law. The United States is not perfect. It's a bittersweet reality, but the rule of law prevails. That is why the average Nigerian can come to the United States and is engaging in issues and talking about U.S. national security, talking about global security, talking about everything that may not be possible even in his own country, right? So uh, the hush money case is gone. Hopefully, we can see a stop to that issue. And the next 4 years, that Trump would do his term and leave office, and then we can have another president after the Trump's era. But overall, I think what this has also proven is that democracy is stronger, bigger than one individual. If there is a probable cause, there will be a looking into that matter. But again, what it also shows is that you cannot use lawfare to target your political opponent. And if you don't have a strong case, don't bring it. Because again, Trump would always say, the targeting of me worked in my favor. Probably that is why a lot of people felt like he was being targeted and they voted for him. So keep the rule of law sacrosanct and keep democracy working and keep liberty, and the flag flying.
All right, God bless. Before we let you go, in the nearest future, should we have people like you return back to Africa and replicate some of the things that you have enjoyed in the diaspora?
Heard you properly.
Did you get the question?
Can you say that again? Yeah. Now,
All right. In the nearest future, should we expect people like you return back to Africa, return back to Nigeria in particular, to replicate some of the things you have actually learned over years in the United States?
I mean, I'm still doing my work in Africa. Ready to Lead Africa is still operating in Nigeria. We're doing a lot of work on the continent. We were in Ghana last year for the elections. We were in Sierra Leone in 2023, and we're going to be in Anambra for Anambra's elections. I mean, I'm involved globally. Part of what we're hoping is that we can have a political culture that accepts people like us and the ideas that we have. We believe in the rule of law, one man, one vote, campaigning on the issues and not tribe and not religion and not party or just um, you know jingoism and pepper souping according to Obayagbon. Uh, so the thing is, if we have
A bit of a network glitch there. We hope we can reconnect with God bless Tubore to conclude our conversation on the inauguration of Donald Trump as the 47th President of the United States, and looking at other ancillary issues. God bless. If you're with us now, you can just quickly anchor the point. Okay, well, we lost connection with God Bless there. But we're hoping to have God Bless live in the studio anytime soon to look at some of the work he's been doing and some of the issues that have been coming forth just to ensure that we put all of these in proper perspective. Okay, God Bless. Let's quickly get you anchor that last point you were making. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was saying that. Can you hear me now?
Yes, loud and clear. Go ahead.
Okay, great. I was saying that for me, I've never abandoned the continent. I'm continuing to work on issues. The African Continental Free Trade Agreement is something that I'm passionate about. I believe that we can integrate African economies, young people. We can integrate trade and democracy. Um, I know the Prosper Africa just signed a partnership with the Afrexim Bank, and I'm going to be talking to the president about it, as well as Wamkele, the Secretary General of the AFCFTA. Hopefully, we'll continue to build. And let me just say this: the United States sponsors a lot of Africans to the United States every year through the Mandela Washington Fellowship, and we will continue to engage and make sure that we are working to deepen our footprints, not just in Africa, but also around the globe. Look, I believe in one man, one vote. I believe in campaigning on the issues If Nigeria continues to grow democratically, and Africa continues to grow democratically, we will come back and implement some of the ideas that we have. We will revamp education. We will redesign the way we build our schools. We will change
Finally,
our
Amnesia is
curriculum.
ready at the tribunal.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, loud and clear. Just conclude the point here.
Yeah. Yeah, so we will continue to rebuild our educational system. We would improve U.S.-Africa relations. Um, and Africa will become, a bit more strategic to U.S. national and global interest, and Africa would develop in that regard. One of the things we've been trying to do is to see how we can ensure that economic development is on top of the agenda of the next U.S. administration. So we'll continue to do that. And if opportunity arises, of course, we'll be back to support and develop. But we're now part of the U.S. Process, and I believe that our responsibility have improved and increased from just regional and country-wise assignment to global assignments, and hopefully we can continue to improve what we're doing. And yes, where the opportunity exists, we're going to serve our people without looking back. And that is an assurance I can give you. But in terms of speaking about U.S.-Africa relations, we will never stop. And I believe that the Trump administration will benefit Africa, and will continue to speak for it. And I hope that we'll continue to improve our lot and improve Africa's standing in the United States, and also improve the black race's posture globally and not just in the United States.
Thank you very much, Otubore. God bless. I mean, very robust and exciting conversation today. In fact, you made our day, and it's so good to know that you were in Benin here, University of Benin, back in the days, and you're doing so well in the United States of America as the president, ready to lead in the United States. And just to hear you talk about some of the impacts that you have made and you're still making, so gratifying. We hope to have you here live in the studio one of these days so we can talk more on all of these issues. Thank you so much for your time with us on the show.
Thank you so much, Uncle Sonny. I mean, I'm excited just looking at you and your colleague over there. This is it's nostalgic for me. No matter where you go, you never forget home, right? and just seeing you being there, and yeah, absolutely, I'll be back sometime this year, maybe for Anambra's election, and we're going to be doing a lot of work. We're implementing our Follow the Result initiative. We're building apps. We're currently following projects of governors across 6 states. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And we're going to be bringing a lot of U.S. investors to Africa to do a lot of work to counter some of the, the work of the enemy who's trying to just encircle us and reap us off of our natural resources and erode our democratic progress by empowering dictatorial tendencies in a form of development. So yeah. Thank you so much for having me. I'm grateful.
Thank you again. Thank you. God bless. Thank you so much.